Dobrodošli, and welcome back to Michelle's Slovenska kuhinja. I have a delicious, savory episode in store for you today. As the saying goes, all good things come to those who wait. Today, we will require a little bit of patience and time. We are making homemade rustic crusty bread, and in Slovenian, that is known as Domači Kmečki Kruh. We're going to be using a little bit of bread flour, which is loaded with proteins. It makes the dough nice and stretchy, and it fills it with all the little air pockets that you definitely want in your bread. We also are going to use a little bit of whole wheat flour, which offers a little bit of complexity and that delicious crunchy brown outer crust. I cannot wait to share this recipe with you. Are you ready? Let's get started. So we're going to start off with 1 cup of hot water, 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt, 1.5 tablespoons of dry milk, 2 2/3 cup of bread flour, 1/3 cup of whole wheat flour, and then lastly we're going to add 2 teaspoons of active yeast. You're going to want to use the hook attachment, and then you're going to set it to mix for 8 minutes. Okay, it's been 8 minutes. We're going to get a board, we're going to flour the board, and then we're going to shape the dough, and then we're going to cover it with a glass bowl. Now we want to cover it and we want to let it rest for 40 minutes. Okay, so that was the first rise. And we're going to flour our hands. We're just going to punch the dough with karate chops. And we're going to shape it into a dome or a ball. We're going to cover it for the second rise for 35 minutes. And you want your dough to kind of feel warm. If it's cold, what you can do is get a bowl of hot water, place it underneath the board, and then at least the hot water will sort of evaporate up and warm up your dough. We're going to let it sit. We're going to set the timer for 35 minutes. Okay, so it's been 35 minutes and now we are prepping for our third and final rise. It's looking perfect. My dough ball is still warm. So we're going to do the same thing this time. We're going to punch it down, push it down. Okay, and we're going to reshape it now into a dome or a ball. some more flour. Cover it up, and we're gonna set the timer for our third and final rise for 40 minutes. We're almost ready to put the bread in the oven, but first we need to set the oven to 475. We place a cast iron Dutch oven into a cold oven, and then once the oven is ready, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so it's been 40 minutes, and the dough looks ready to be baked. I have my parchment paper ready to go. Dough ball looks great. Sprinkle it with some flour. But I always like to score the bread before I actually put it into the oven. Start 4 times on one side, and I'm just going to mimic it on the other side. So I've taken out my Dutch oven pot out of the 475 degree oven. It is super hot and ready to go. I've placed my dough into the pot, cover it up, and I'm going to put it into the oven, set the timer for 20 minutes. It's been 20 minutes. I'm going to take the top off, and I'm going to put it in on broil for another minute to a minute and a half, just so we can get the crust a little bit more browned. The crust is absolutely perfect.